Hello, everyone. Agent of Doubt here. Still the world's worst SJW. Still the worst at it. And today I'm still kind of rattled by the subject of my last video and the possibility that I'm going to end up with a PhD in something that is quasi-illegal by the time I'm done with it, and then I have to wait to see if the political pendulum will swing back. I'm a therapist, and I am trying to be able to teach classes to bring other therapists in the world because I care about the profession, and you can't teach what we want to teach without things like diversity and inclusion, equity. All this stuff is on the chopping block, and it could result in school closures and whatnot. I'm going to press on as though maybe going in one direction while everybody else doesn't, and they maybe go the other direction. I'm just going to keep working on myself as though it's the prudent thing to do. Keep on with my studies and just let the chips fall where they may. And maybe there's going to be a couple bad years for business, as far as going further into the field that I'm in. But what I want to talk about this week is actually, while I'm in the process of getting this PhD, I have assignments from a hybrid delivery of schoolwork. So you get like in-person stuff and you get online stuff, right? And what I'm noticing is that there are these certain assignments that are like discussion post threads, right? And you get assigned that you have to respond to other people's posts like so many days out of the week, and you get graded on how well you responded to people. And basically, just if you can Facebook, you can do school now. That's what it's like. And I've said this before about it looking a lot like the online fights that I've had with people on Facebook, because you got to stay up late if somebody is wrong on the internet, especially Facebook, right? You got to put in the extra effort. So you have this back and forth and whatnot. But really, what I see in schools is a lot more tame than the fiery stuff I get into on social media. Yeah. So what I'm seeing as an epidemic this semester in particular, not the previous one, not my entire master's program. What I'm seeing is evidence that my classmates may all be using AI chatbots to write all of their assignments. And when I say all, I mean it's rampant. And I've been through different eras of internet or no internet in my academic career. When I graduated high school, it was before the millennium. So there was no internet per se for people to be able to plagiarize from, right? You couldn't get, maybe you might be able to find somebody else who's willing to write a paper for you that you could have hired, but it would have been a lot of money. But it just wasn't a thing, right? And I was in the military for a while, so I was a little out of academia for a while, so I wasn't used to what people would have been like in like academic settings until I got out of the military, with a gap of 10 years in between my high school diploma and my bachelor's. And so, yeah, when I got there, I noticed that any subject that you had for a writing assignment had a crib note that you could have looked up online. It's like they were all digitized. Every crib note subject, and all the crib notes were online. And I did notice that my fellow classmates were just cut and pasting things whole cloth, and the instructors were not equipped with the ability to catch it. Right now, in between my bachelor's and my master's, again, 10-year gap. So we're talking. This education of mine has had spans where I've seen different technologies in play. And during my master's program, I would not dare to ever plagiarize anything because they had new services like Turnitin and plagiarism catching services that it was, in my opinion, impossible to plagiarize. Maybe it was possible, but like you should be on guard for that because they have tools now to scan your document and check it the known universe, all the libraries of the world, and so I thought it was a little bit different, going through my master's then. But I would still see people get caught for plagiarism. And academic probation was put on them and everything. Now we've got AI chatbots like ChatGPT, Gemini, and what are there others? I don't even give a crap. There's a ton of them out there. They all do different things, but a lot of them can write papers that will not get caught by plagiarism checkers, right? But they have a style to them. And it's that style of stick up your ass that I see it right away. When I'm looking at other people's work, it's just like, you didn't write this, a robot wrote this. And in order to combat that, I have been, in my own work, inserting a lot more of my work experience into my papers, just so that nobody ever mistakes anything that I say as being something that could have been ripped off the internet, because you can't. It's like from my own life. Like, no Chat GPT would be able to know about these stories from my own life. So my own personal experiences is a great benefit to me right now. The fact that I took gaps in between my education to go work in the actual field. And so students who went from their high school diploma to their bachelor's to their master's and now are in a PhD program that didn't have years of experience to draw from, their work, written by ChatGPT, looks very stick up its ass, right? And so you'll see these responses. Like, if I get a 4-paragraph response from someone, right, on a discussion post thread, I get 4 paragraphs from them. The first sentence of every paragraph is, "Oh, I really appreciate what you said there. Oh, that was spot on. What you said there. I haven't seen so many things that were spot on in a long time." But you just the compliments that ChatGPT said. I'm looking at some, like right now on the screen here. It says, "This is a really great point that you brought up. I love that you brought up." Let's see some other replies here. "You raise a great point about, I appreciate your attention on," and then a quote from what I wrote. And it's like this back and forth ChatGPT sucking each other off bullshit that's on every paragraph. It's so complimentary to itself because I guess it's programmed that way, but like I could spot it a mile away, right? There's this writing style that it has for an aside where it will use a dash and then write something and then another dash. And I see it so often in writing that I suspect is written by a chatbot because I don't write in that style at all. And I haven't seen that style prior to this semester. And I just feel like whenever I see that aside that starts with a dash and ends with a dash, I'm like, nobody fucking writes that way. Especially not when we're talking back and forth to each. Nobody uses that style. I'm Gen X, so like, ellipses of ... just like Stephen King, like that's all through my writing, and ChatGPT doesn't do that. I guess unless maybe if you prompted it to write like Stephen King, right? But I use it because it's part of my style that I grew up with, and when I look at the style of everybody else's writing versus what I'm trying to put out to make sure that I do not look like I am writing with a chatbot, it is night and day. Like, I know it's making me look like a self-centered asshole who always talks about himself, but at least you cannot accuse me of using a fucking robot to fucking write my papers for me. And this goes like deeper in my mind, like nobody needs to be scheduling surgery with anyone who was born before the millennium. Like, you do not know that your doctor actually wrote those papers. Like, actually passed that class, right? They could have been wearing Google Glass on their face and, like, having the answers fed to them somehow. They could have, had a AI assist in whatever it was that they were doing at school. And, we're going to have to come up with different forms of measuring intelligence and work. It's going to come down to like strip searches and proctored tests in a classroom. Maybe you're in a remote program, but you have to contract with the local school facility, in order to go take tests, in order to do assignments, because you could just have your robots do it for you. And so there's like no way of really telling whether or not somebody is using these tools. Maybe somebody actually does write like a stick up their ass. Maybe they get really good at using prompts so that they sound more human and they set themselves apart from everybody else. Maybe they're just using a different iteration of ChatGPT or a different AI altogether that just has a different style, And here's one that really chapped my ass, okay? In these discussion threads, you feel like answering all the questions that somebody poses to you, right? And so I see this 4 paragraphs that start with, digital suck me off compliments, right? And then each of these 4 paragraphs ends with one of the hardest questions to answer that I could imagine about what we're talking about. And in order to answer those questions, I then have to spend a significant amount of my time just to answer the questions. And as part of the grading rubric for the class, you're supposed to answer all the questions that get asked of you. So now I've got a motherfucker who has weaponized ChatGPT to fuck me over when he could have just wrote paragraphs responding and just like asked one really easy softball question. But no, he fucked me. And then here I am like an hour later, like, I'm not even responding to a real fucking person. I'm responding to his fucking chatbot that came up with these fucking questions that are written like a stick is up his ass, right? I've met these people in person. Like, this is not just like an online program. I know, I've eaten with these people. I've broken bread with these people. I know that they are not that fucking smart, right? They don't write like that. They're not the nerdiest people in the world. And holy fuck, he weaponized ChatGPT against me, and now the next time I see him, I want to give him a purple nurple. And tell him, hey, fucker, okay, you're using a fucking AI to get yourself through this fucking program. Fine. Right? Don't make it hard on the rest of us by making it ask the rest of us really fucking hard questions, because not all of us want to use ChatGPT in order to respond to things because we want to seem like a flesh and blood fucking person, so we don't get fucking caught one day when somebody like looks over the entire work of everything we've done and says, you know what, looks like you might have used some AI help, and we're gonna, just negate this class and put everyone in the fucking class on academic probation, This fucking semester, every fucking class of every fucking school, I want this semester, the spring semester of fucking 2025, I want every instructor who has, say, access to previous class data. I want you to compare the answers in like discussion threads and in essays and whatever. Compare the quality of this semester to every other fucking semester. And you'll see it. It'll jump right the fuck out at you. It is so pervasive. And surprisingly, there are still people in, say, high school that I might happen to know right now who aren't even getting good grades in school. And like, you really need to not care about your grades in school right now if you're not having a robot just write it for you so you can turn it in. It's fucking free. Like, it's even democratized to the point where, like, it's accessible to everyone. You can get your cell phone, right? For, let's say, you go to a pawn shop, you get it for $25 underneath the glass, right? It's a used cell phone. It might be for any smartphone from the last 10 years. You can go to one of these AI sites, prompt it to write your fucking paper for you, and it will. Right? You can use the Wi-Fi at your local fucking McDonald's, right? Like, for $25, you could have an entire education from like grade 1 to 12, all completed by a fucking smartphone that you got for like $25. That's how bad this is. Like, do not schedule surgery with any doctor born before the millennium. Like, don't do it. Don't. Until we have some other things in place that can keep screening for cheaters and add other criteria to schoolwork, then we cannot trust anything at all that came from them. Fucking millennials and their fucking writing with dashes for asides and fucking asking me fucking really hard fucking questions. Fucking bots. Anyways, those are my thoughts right now. I know that maybe someone from my program might actually see me saying all of this and might actually look into academic probation for every fucking buddy in every fucking program. But it might just be that a couple of years of school is just a wash and they're just not going to do anything because they just love to have our tuition money, because with if you put everyone on fucking academic probation and like half of them quit, then you're gonna have to fire some teachers, right? So yeah, maybe this is just a fucking standoff. I don't know, but yeah, I still love to learn. I still like the classes that I'm taking, and I still like to write responses from my human fucking fingers. If you take nothing else from this ramble, just please do not weaponize a chatbot against one of your classmates to ask your classmate harder questions. Alright? Cheat, that's fine. But don't fucking trip somebody else up who might actually be doing the work organically. Alright? There's gotta be honor among fucking thieves here. Alright? Jesus fucking Christ.